This is music, and this is a truly listen. I have nothing against Babymetal. With that out of the way, welcome to another video. Now, not too long ago, I posted a video sharing my first impressions of some CDs that Metal Marty Mac, check out his channel, it's awesome, he very kindly sent to me. And one of those CDs was 10 Babymetal Years, a compilation by Babymetal. And Marty included that because he knows I like my Japanese metal and hard rock, so that was very nice of him. Now, in the video, my first impressions video, when I talked about Babymetal, my first impressions were very positive, I think. I liked the songwriting at play, I liked the instrumentation, I enjoyed all of the songs, and there were some songs that I thought were brilliant, like Mikitsune and Road of Resistance. I liked the vocal melodies, and I liked Sue Metal's vocals. I thought she was a very, very good singer. So, you know, I had only positive things to say. I also said that it was for kids, that kids would find the vocal melodies fun to sing along to, because the vocal melodies are very catchy. And that kids would find the dances fun as well. And I think, despite the fact that I had only positive things to say, these, like, it's for kids and all that stuff that I said, I think it did offend a number of kitsunes, real hardcore Babymetal fans. And I did receive some comments that were very respectful, I will say that, and we had a constructive dialogue going on, which I appreciate. But the comments did come across a bit passive-aggressive, a bit defensive, like defending Babymetal. And I did get the impression that some people thought I kind of didn't like Babymetal for some reason. But one thing I really appreciated was that, first of all, people took the time to comment on the video and watch it. Obviously, I appreciate that. But some of the commenters took the extra time to put together lists of Babymetal songs that they thought I should check out. And I really appreciate that. And in this video, I will share with you my thoughts on those songs. It's not going to be a reaction video, because I don't do reaction videos. I have nothing against that video genre. It's just not a genre I do, you know what I mean? So this is just me talking basically about these songs. But before that, I figured that I should probably sort of set up some disclaimers. Now, this is stuff that regular viewers of my channel do know, but you know, if you're not a regular viewer, you will probably not be aware of this, and if you haven't watched some of my other videos. But like I said, first of all, I have nothing against Babymetal at all. Before Marty sent me 10 Babymetal Years, the only song I had heard by Babymetal was Mikitsune, and that was a cover version by Nemophila, a very good cover version and a very good song. Like I said, I like that song very much. But I have nothing against Babymetal. I'm not some kind of Babymetal hater or anything like that. I have no strong feelings about Babymetal either way. Now, from the sort of defensive tone of some of the comments, I could gather that Babymetal had probably received a lot of flack and hatred and criticism. I have not read or listened to any of that criticism. I have no input at all from the anti-Babymetal camp. I also had no input from the pro-Babymetal camp. So the opinion in my first that I stated in my first impressions video, and the opinions that I will state in this video, are 100% based on me just listening to those songs. Okay, it's very important for me to stress that. Also, I think my taste in music is fairly broad. Within the world of metal, I like everything from um, AOR, glam metal, melodic hard rock, and dirty hard rock, to traditional heavy metal, speed metal, thrash metal, death metal, grindcore, rap metal, funk metal, a lot of things. And I listen to a lot of music outside the world of metal as well. I really like progressive rock, for example. Um, Alternative rock, I listen to some of that. There's 80s pop music that I like. Obviously, there's a lot of music I don't like as well. And that doesn't mean that I hate it. It just means it doesn't appeal to me. And also within the world of metal, I'm not a big fan of metalcore. Nothing wrong with metalcore or people that like metalcore per se. It just doesn't appeal to me. Metalcore. Industrial metal, I do like some of it, but a lot of it, again, doesn't appeal to me. So, yeah. There are styles of music I don't like, but I think my taste in music is very broad, and I am not some kind of metal elitist or metal purist. Very important for me to point that out as well. I do like a lot of Japanese metal, and I discovered Japanese metal back in really got into it back in 2010, maybe even 2009. When I bought a CD by a progressive metal band called Vigilante. I liked it. So I asked a very good friend of mine who's Japanese, who lives in Japan, if he could recommend some Japanese metal to me. And he recommended Maximum the Hormone. So, and I love Maximum the Hormone. So my entry point into Japanese metal is Vigilante and Maximum the Hormone. Then I discovered Bandmate, one of my favorite bands. Maximum the Hormone, one of my favorite bands too. I discovered Nemophila. I discovered, lots of cool Japanese metal bands. I have a number of old Japanese metal hard rock albums on vinyl from the 80s and stuff like that. So I like my Japanese metal, but I've been into it since 2010. But I only got into listening to Babymetal or this month, basically. Also, I've been in a number of bands myself, so I play music myself, I write music, and so on and so forth. I've been in a hard rock band, I've been in thrash metal band, I've been in a death metal band, I've been in a doom metal band, I've been in an alternative rock band, so I've been in lots of different bands. So just my background in music, and I hope that, although this was kind of a long prelude, that this will prevent any misunderstandings. I'm not a metal purist. That's really it. And I have nothing against Babymetal. So that was a long prelude. But as I said, I hope this will diminish the risk of people making false assumptions about, what my agenda is and where I come from. And it will diminish the risk of misunderstandings. Obviously, I'm going to say something that will offend someone at some point anyways, but I hope I've diminished the risk of that. So let's get to the songs. Yeah, I really appreciate that the Kitsunes out there took their time to put together lists of songs they wanted me to check out. So I have a list of 11 songs. I just went through all the songs that they listed. There were some Kitsunes that also recommended that I check out Babymetal live, because they argued that Babymetal is a live band. They should be experienced live, and I get that. But I think that, the studio versions should be good too, you know what I mean? Because that's typically what I listen to when I listen to music on the go. I listen to studio versions on my, on my iPod, or I have a CD player in my office at work, and I have a cassette tape player at my office at work as well. So I listen mainly to studio versions. I'm not a big live album guy, and I like watching like live Blu-ray and live CDs and things like that, but I can't really do that when I'm out and about, right? So I have opted for the studio versions of these songs with one exception, and I'll get to it. So I guess a bit of a warning. My thoughts on these songs are a mixed bag, just so you know. Some of the songs I like, some of the songs I don't like that much, and some of the songs I really like. So just so you are prepared for that. So let's get to it. The first one is Rondo of Nightmare, and that one is from the 2014 Babymetal album. I know some of these songs were released on singles originally, and some of them go way back. But I listened to the version on Babymetal from 2014. And that song, Rondo of Nightmare, kind of evolves around a kind of gent-adjacent metalcore kind of main riff. It's a very, very heavy song. But I'm not a major fan of metalcore. So the sort of metalcore core part of that song, I don't hate it, but it's okay. What I really like about it though is that the vocal melody is really, really nice. I really like it. It's very melancholic and it's sung very well. I really like the way that vocal melody is delivered. There's a nice mellow kind of breakdown in the bridge as well, where Metal does some very, very nice falsetto notes as well. And there's some kind of melancholic piano effects overlaid on some of the parts, which I like those too. So, but the highlight to me of that song, that's the vocals, 100%. The metalcore elements, I don't have a problem with them, but they are a bit meh to me because metalcore doesn't appeal that much to me. So Rondo of Nightmare is a fine song, but what I really like about it is the vocal melodies and the vocals, the performance on the vocals. So there's that. There's the second song, the next one is Awandama Fever. This is an industrial metal song. It starts out with a kind of like an electronic drum beat that reminds me a lot of The Prodigy, actually. And back in the day, in the 90s, I listened a lot to The Prodigy, and I still like listening to them every now and then. This is another song that has some very, very cool vocal melodies. Like in the verse, very cool, catchy vocal melody. And in the chorus line, that's kind of catchy too, but it's also kind of fun. That's where they kind of shall we say, appeal to the sort of more kid-friendly side of things. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I think it's very catchy, right? The chorus line actually reminds me a little bit of some of the more fun stuff that Maximum the Hormone do in some of their fun songs. There is a breakdown that's very mushing friendly and has a really cool riff, in my opinion. So I kind of like that breakdown. And in the bridge, there's a fun kind of call response thing going on, where you have like the girls' kiddie voices doing call response action with a harsh, satanic, demonic voice. It's kind of fun. So I think Awandama Fever is a very enjoyable song to me. I mean, I'm not a massive fan of industrial metal, but it kind of works very well in this song. The next one that was recommended is Yava, I think, and that's from Metal Resistance from 2016. Awandama Fever is also from Metal Resistance, I think. But Yava is kind of a combination of industrial metal and ska. So there are lots of ska beats in it. And I like that very much. I always liked the sort of the drive of ska, the very upbeat drive that ska has. There's an awesome chorus. The chorus here is awesome. The vocal line, the vocals performance is awesome. And the instrumentation is awesome too. It's just a great chorus that I really like. And there's a very, very groovy breakdown. It is metalcore style, but it's not too much for me. I really like the groove. Back in the 90s, and I was in a groove metal band myself. I was big into groove metal, so I always appreciated when bands sort of just use some groove metal elements, and they do that in this song, in the breakdown. I really enjoy that. So Yava is a very good song. I really like that song too. And then the next one is Catch Me If You Can, which is from Babymetal, the album from 2014. This is another industrial metal song. It's very heavy. This is another song where you have kind of like a sort of interplay between, you know, death growls and just like a kitty, fun kitty voices. And it's fun, right? And this one has, in the chorus, it has some fun vocal melodies as well. And they're also very catchy, you know, and I do like catchy vocal melodies. This is very, 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 in particular in this song, there's a very interesting contrast between the sort of the kiddie stuff and the very, very heavy industrial metal stuff. And again, I haven't heard the entire first album and the singles before that, but my impression from some of the comments and from the songs I've listened to is that they do more of that kind of kid-friendly stuff on the first releases, and then it becomes more and more, I guess, less and less for kids only as the years go by. It makes sense as the ladies in Babymetal grow older. It's kind of weird to have like 20-year-old women still, you know, do new songs that are as if they were kids. So I get that. But there's just an interesting contrast on those early songs that I've heard between the kid-friendly stuff and the very heavy instrumentation. That's kind of, you know, very interesting. And certainly you have that in this one, in this Catch Me If You Can. And this is another song that has some Prodigy like industrial or electronic drum beats every now and then. So Catch Me If You Can, industrial metal song. I don't have any problem with that song. There's some good things in it for sure. The next one that was recommended is, I guess it's pronounced Kagerou or something like that. This one is from Metal Galaxy from 2019. And this is a very good song. I really like that song. It's just a groovy song. Lots of groovy riffs that has some very nice vocal melodies. And although it's groovy, it's very melancholic throughout. And for some reason, I really just enjoy that song. It's a great song. The next one, BxMxC, also from Metal Galaxy. This is the one where I checked out the live version. I checked out the studio version as well. So this is another industrial metal kind of song. It's very heavy. There's a lot of voice processing going on here, and it's not like you know, auto-tuner. It's not like deceptive voice processing. You know what I mean? They do it almost as if it were an instrument, but it's the voice processing in this song is just a bit too much for my taste. I don't mind voice processing used for like expressive purposes. The first Cynic album called Focus, which kind of like death metal and jazz kind of combined. They have like two vocal styles on there, death growls, and then a vocalist that sings in a falsetto voice, and he has vocoder effects all the way throughout his, you know, falsetto singing, and I kind of like that. But in this song, the voice processing is just a bit too much for my taste. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not bad or anything. It's just doesn't appeal that much to me. And I think the industrial metal part is also a bit too much for my tastes. So BxMxC this is not my cup of tea, this song. I checked out the live version too, and the live version just sounds much better. I'll give you that. And I think part of why the live version is a bit more enjoyable to me is also that you get the visual, because I watched it on YouTube, right? So you get the visual part, you get to see them perform and do the dances and all that stuff. I think the version I saw live was the one that has, is her name, is it Riho? Doing kind of like the third wheel thing after Babymetal left the band. But yeah, so BxMxC, the live version, is a bit more palatable for me, but it's a song that just doesn't appeal to me. I don't hate it, it's just not my cup of tea. The next song that was recommended, however, Tales of Destinies. Now that is right up my alley. It's a progressive metal song. I actually didn't see that one coming, because on the 10 Babymetal years, you got your industrial metal stuff, you got your kind of modern power metal kind of stuff, and you have your metalcore stuff, but there's no progressive metal on that one, I think. But this one is a progressive metal song. I didn't see that one coming, and it's a fucking awesome song. I have to throw in a swear word there. The instrumentation, the performance, super technical, like you would expect from a progressive metal song. And there's some fun vocals in the verse, but overall the vocals are also great. I think there's some really nice kind of power metal vocal melodies in several places as well, very catchy, very haunting as well. And it has so many cool parts, this song. You know, it's a real awesome just metal music journey, like top class progressive metal. I think if you like your Dream Theater, you might actually like this song. I really like this song, Tales of the Destinies. That's like a, you know, top class song for me. My favorite song still Mikitsune, but this one is certainly up there. That's a great song. The next one is called Arkadia, and by the way, Tales of the Destinies, I think it's from Metal Resistance. Arkadia is from Metal Galaxy, and this is just an all-out modern power metal song. It has awesome big guitar melodies. It has some really cool vocal melodies in the verse. The riffage in the pre-chorus is just nice. Really like it. In the chorus, you just have this power metal, larger than life, sing-along, Schlager type of vocal line, which which I can only appreciate. Yeah, it's a very, very, very nice song. They use blast beats, and they do that in some of the other songs, but this is where I really noticed it, because it's a power metal song. So they use blast beats in it, which works very well. It's just a super kind of epic power metal song. Really, really good song. I like it. If you like your modern power metal, I think you will like Arkadia as well. I'll say that much. The next one is it's called I think it's Akatsuki or something like that. It's from the Babymetal album. It starts out like a ballad, like an epic ballad, but it kind of, I mean, it's a power metal song too, and I would say it's like an epic, almost like quasi-symphonic power metal song. It has at least symphonic elements to it. Another song that has some nice vocal melodies and some really, really cool riffage throughout the song, and just some epic and tasty guitar solos. You've got some nice twin guitar melodies going on, all that stuff that I really like in my metal music. There's a slightly melancholic feel to it, but that's fine. I like that. I mean, I do like my doom metal, for example. I like Depeche Mode. I do like melancholic music. For sure, melodic black metal is also very melancholic. So this one has, I mean, this is not a black metal song, but it's a power metal song, but it has a melancholic feel to it. And it just has, you know, these big power metal vocals. It's a big epic power metal song too. Like that song very much. Really great song. The next one is Syncopation. That's from Metal Resistance. And that's more of a sort of like a modern metal song. It has some nice guitar work throughout it. There are some kind of metalcore elements, because a lot of modern metal has kind of adopted the metalcore tropes and kind of integrated that into just metal, you know what I mean? Also a song that has some very tasty guitar solos, and this is another song that has some really cool blast beats. I think this is a super song. I like this song very much too, Syncopation. And the last one, I think it's 11 songs. The last one that was recommended is from Dusk Till Dawn, from Metal Resistance, I think as well. This is more of an kind of almost ambient, kind of mellow, certainly atmospheric a bit, very melodic, kind of metalcore, modern metal, whatever, ballad. This one also has some voice processing going on, but I actually quite like it in this one, because they almost kind of like use the voice here as if it were an instrument hitting different notes. So I like that in this song. There's an overall epic feel to it, and there are some electronic elements in this one too, but they work for me here. And I do get a bit of a Depeche Mode vibe from this song. And also, I don't know how many people know the band called Mew, kind of like an alternative art pop rock, slightly progressive leaning band. Mew, also very melancholic music, so I get a bit of a vibe that reminds me of Depeche Mode and Mew. And from Dusk Till Dawn, I like that song too. I think that's a good song. So overall, of the 11 songs that were recommended to me, only one of them wasn't my cup of tea. Some of them, had some elements that didn't appeal that much to me. But overall, I enjoyed all the other songs, and there were some of them again that I really, really like Tales of the Destinies, and Yava. I kind of like that sort of ska feel there's to the song. Kagerou, I really like that one too, and Akatsuki, Syncopation, from Dusk Till Dawn, right? There's lots of songs that I actually really liked. And if you sort of notice a pattern here, the metalcore kind of songs, I enjoy them, but they're not my favorite type of baby metal song. The industrial metal kind of songs, I enjoy most of them, but it's not my favorite. The power metal kind of songs, bang, I really like those. And that progressive metal kind of song, if there's more like that, if there's more out there like Tales of the Destinies, Katsune's out there, let me know, because I want to check that out, because that was a fucking awesome song. My favorite song is still Mikitsune. So yeah, those were my thoughts on the songs that people very, very kindly took the time to recommend to me. Really appreciate that you did that. I want to now go into some maybe discussion points or something like that. It seems to me that, as I said, I haven't read any of the hate or bile that has been leveled against Babymetal, but I did go into some Babymetal fan Reddits, and just to get a feel of how Babymetal fans perceive the criticism that has been leveled against Babymetal. So this is kind of like a second-hand thing, it's not something I got firsthand, because I don't want to read that hatred and all that stuff myself. But it seems from the sort of discourse in some of these Babymetal fan Reddits that some of the kind of, I guess, the battle that has been going on is whether or not Babymetal, are they legit metal, right? So it seems to be a matter of, are they legitimately a metal band? And I, yeah, to me it's metal. It has a lot of heavy metal elements. It has power metal elements, metalcore elements. I know some people say metalcore is not true metal. I don't care. It has power metal elements. It has industrial metal elements. It has metalcore elements. It also has some, not a lot, but I noticed some death metal style riffage. I don't know if there's an entire song that's all out death metal. Let me know if there's one. I want to check that out if there is. It has some traditional heavy metal riffage. It has groove metal elements. It has the drums, the overdriven guitars. To me, it's metal. Yeah, it does have J-pop elements to it as well, but that's why people call it kawaii metal. So to me, it's metal. Now, one of the arguments that I've seen presented is that, well, you have, heavy metal, respected heavy metal musicians like Rob Halford, Rob Zombie, Metallica, lots of, metal artists saying that Babymetal are metal and therefore they are a metal band. I get that argument, but I don't buy that argument myself, because if you think about it, it's just an argument that appeals to authority. Somebody who is an authority figure in the field says it's true, ergo it's true. That's not good enough for me. I have to listen to the music myself. Just because Rob Halford, and he's one of my favorite singers, just because he says it's metal, that doesn't mean that I have to think it's metal too. But having listened to it, I think it's metal too. And ultimately, who cares? You know what I mean? If it's good music, it's good music. And even if we imagine that it could never be accepted as metal, if we imagine that Babymetal is pop music and it was illegal or whatever to consider it metal music, I would much rather listen to Babymetal any time of the day, all day, than any of the, in my opinion, garbage out there that counts as pop music today. I would listen to Babymetal all day. So there you go. Because I don't like contemporary pop music. I think it's dumbed down, it's simplistic, and it's stupid. But that's just my opinion. So is Babymetal, is it metal or not? Only the Fox God knows. But I think it is metal, and I've just told you why. Another thing, because as I said, I felt that some of the comments I received from Kitsunes were a bit passive aggressive and defensive, but as I said, very respectful, and I really appreciate that. Very civil. There was one kind of sarcastic comment, but that's fine. I can live with that. Yeah, they were very defensive. I gather there's been a lot of hatred towards Babymetal, and apparently, again, I don't know because I haven't bothered reading it myself, but apparently, in addition to a battle of whether or not Babymetal are legitimate when it comes to metal, apparently some of the hatred has been just racist and misogynistic, and come on, man, if that's the case, that's just dumb. But I think regarding having to defend an artist or a music genre, I always thought, why bother? It's not worth it. I mean, I grew up, I got into metal when I was 11. Iron Maiden, Somewhere in Time, the first metal album I heard, it just, it hit me, clicked with me immediately. And it's my favorite album. It still is. Maiden, still my favorite band. But so I was into metal. I was a metalhead when I was a kid, and when I was a teenager, and I still am, of course, when I was a teenager. And that was in a time before metal got, mainstream. It was before Metallica's Black Album, which made metal mainstream. So I was used to people shitting on the music I liked, and just trash talking it. I remember one of my classmates way back in school saying that she didn't like Iron Maiden because it was noise and they looked like monkeys. And with an attitude like that, you know, why even, I don't even feel like I need to defend the music I like against that kind of critique. That's just dumb. So I always felt like I don't need to defend the music I like. That's a waste of time. Then I'd rather just listen to it and enjoy it. Now, sure, I think it's fine to recommend it to people that you like. These Kitsunes had very kindly done with these songs I've talked about. I think that's fine, but I think it's a waste of time to defend your favorite music, your favorite artists against criticism, because that energy I could have used that energy listening to, you know, Somewhere in Time once more, or listening to my favorite Babymetal song or whatever, you know what I mean? So I don't think it should be necessary to defend genres or artists. Then it's much more fun to listen to it and talk to, you know, fellow fans. And I mean, I don't get angry when people trash the music I like. It's a waste of energy, as I said. So it's fine again to recommend stuff to people. I think it's also good to have discussions, but music is so subjective, it's taste as well, and there can be so many different factors at play. So yeah, I just think it's a shame that people feel they need to defend Babymetal. I think it's a shame. I would just enjoy Babymetal. Now, I have watched, since I made my first impressions video, I have watched some Babymetal interviews. I've watched some live performances, and I will say, and I think there are 2 members left now, and then they have like a rotation spot for, you know, other artists. And I think they come from other J-pop and J-rock, probably J-pop the most bands, or acts or whatever, filling in the 3rd spot, I think. But there are 2 kind of core members left, and I will say in the interviews I've watched, they come across as just wholesome people. They are very polite, very humble. There was an interview, I think it was Loudwire, where Moa-Metal, I think she's called, they talk about different things, and then they start talking about you know, English, and she says, "I'm so nervous right now," and that's just, you know, very honest, like she's a person, right? And what really struck me was that these ladies in Babymetal, they are very humble. They seem very, very polite, and they seem to just appreciate their fans. And I've seen this in other Japanese metal bands like Nemophila, Bandmate. They can be goofy and make jokes and stuff like that, but they seem very polite. They don't seem like they are divas or superior or anything like that. They seem very appreciative of their fans. They seem very wholesome. And I will say that I think that the Babymetal ladies are probably much better, much more wholesome role models to young people, and probably also old farts, than, again, it's just my opinion, than a lot of the disgustingly diva-like and obnoxious pop stars we have in the West. They just disgust me. And not just because I don't like that music, but because of the demeanor when they're interviewed and so on and so forth. Some of them just seem to have nothing but contempt for their fans. So, Babymetal, they just seem like wholesome people. I mean, the 2 ladies in Babymetal. So these were just a bit of a rant and discussion point, and this video ended up being very long, but just as, I guess, a recap. So some things I don't like and some things I like about the songs I heard and commented on. So if we just take the negative first, and negative, the metalcore elements, generally, I don't have a problem with them, but there are some times where they get a bit too metalcore for me. Same thing with the industrial metal elements. For the most part, I enjoy them, but there are some songs like BxMxC where it's a bit over the top, in my opinion, with the industrial stuff. And the same thing with some of the electronic elements and the voice processing. Generally, I don't mind, but there are some places where it's a bit too much for my taste. And the only song that it's not really my cup of tea, that's BxMxC. But what I like about the songs I heard, the vocals, I will say it again, they sound very good. I think Su-metal is a very, very good singer. And this is even the studio version. People say that you have to listen to her live because her voice is not processed and all that stuff. But even in the studio version, I really like her singing. And I like her singing style. There's a certain inherent sort of melancholic feel to her voice, which I just really like. And I like the vocal melodies too. They're big, they're large, they're catchy, they're haunting, they're sing-along friendly. Some of them are, and you cannot deny it, some of them are for kids. And they're fun to sing along to for kids. I don't think you can deny that, because kids like catchy stuff. I like catchy melodies too. I think the contrast between the kawaii kind of kiddie-friendly stuff and the more heavy guitar tone and the more melancholic and haunting vocal melodies, I think that's very interesting. And the musicianship is undeniably top class. So this was a long video, but at the end of the day, there was only one song of the 11 songs that wasn't my cup of tea. There's a handful of those songs, particularly the more power metal ones and the more progressive metal oriented one, that I thought were excellent songs that I really liked. And the rest of the songs I quite enjoyed. So this was a long video, probably the longest video on this channel so far, because there was a bit of ranting and stuff going on too. But yeah, again, thanks to the Kitsunes out there who recommended these songs to me. And if there's more like the power metal kind of stuff, songs out there, please let me know. If there's more like Tales of the Destinies, progressive metal, please let me know, because that song was fucking awesome. Also, if there's more in the vein of Mikitsune out there, let me know too. I want to check those things out. So, as you can see, I have nothing against Babymetal. What the future has in store for my music journey into Babymetal, only the fuck's God knows.